Okay, this is Assalamu alaikum. Hello. Today it's Saturday. This is term 2, week, I think we're week 4 now. Term 2, week 4, Math AMS or Math CA. Okay, very easy, not very easy, صراحة. Some questions are a bit, يعني the new quadratic equations in شوي, they're a bit tricky. But the rest is very easy. خلينا نبلش question 1, which is true. This is, everybody should be able to know this. If it's a radical, that means this will be greater than or equal to 0. So set x plus 5 greater than or equal to 0. Take 5 to the other side. It will be all numbers greater than or equal to negative 5, because 5 on the other side is negative 5. And if it's in the denominator, it cannot equal 0. You take 1 to the other side, it will become x cannot equal negative 1. يعني هولي is what, term 1, week 1. اوكي هولي I think في sign rule وهي الاي جي سي اس اي وبعدين كله quadratic. اوكي is the algebra is the quadratic. Okay, مهم C is here, they give you C is 80, they give you sine C is 0.4, so let's just put 0.4, and sine B is 0.3. okay, وهنا بدهم B. I told you, okay, obviously since we're saying sine, معناته we're using the sine rule. Okay, and I told you always start with what they're asking. What they asking for B, right? Asking for B. So we're going to use sine B over B equals, what do we have given? We have the angle C and the side C given. So we're going to do sine C over C. Okay, sine B not, they gave it in the question, he's 0.3. The side B نحن ما بنعرف, we're trying to find it, we don't know it, equals sine C, which is given 0.4 over the side C. Okay, the side C, which is 80. You cross multiply and you're gonna get B is 60. Okay, B is 60. Question 3, only repeat from last week. Using, okay, we've done AB. AB is opposite to angle C, so we'll call it side C. Okay, well, they're giving you the signs, so you know to use the sign rule. Okay, since I tell you always start with the one they're asking for. Since they're asking for side C, we'll do sine C over C equals, what do we have given? What side do we have given? We have the one opposite to A, so sine A over A. Okay, sine C is gonna be sine 30, which is 0.5 over C, side C, we don't know it, equals sine A, so sine 113, which is 0.9, over side A, which is 45, given 45. Cross multiply, you'll get C is 25. Question 4, and I'm going through them a bit quickly and not repeat, they're all repeat, but the new concepts I'll go through them slowly. Slowly, and they're from last week. Using the approximation, sine 35 is points. Okay, they want y. Okay, and I tell you to make things easier, always have all three triangles. Sorry, shoot, three triangles. Sorry, always have all three angles written down. And you make sure you know all three angles, and just to make things easier for you. Okay, so if this is 35, this is 115. Manita, this is 30. For anybody who doesn't know why, it's because all three triangles, all three angles in a triangle add up to 180. Okay, what is the value of y? Okay, so I tell you, they're saying sine, so use the sine rule. Y is opposite to, I always tell you, start with what they're asking for. Start with what they're asking for. Oh, here they're asking for side y, so we start with sine y over y. Okay, now what side do we have given? And the side opposite to x. So it will be equal to sine x over x. Okay, sine y is going to be the angle y, which is sine 35, and then they gave it to us 0.57. Okay, over side y, which now we're trying to find, keep this y, equals sine x, so sine x, so sine 30. I'll give it to you at 0.5. Okay, sine 30 is 0.5. Okay, over x, side x, which is 200. Oh, you cross, you're gonna get 228. Okay, هو اللي هنا الساين رول يعني it's the opposite side. Okay, here again they want sine. They gave us sine 50.0.77. What is the value of sine C? فهنا بدهم sine c. So we always start with what they're asking for. Since they're asking for sine c, let's start with sine c over c equals نحن what side and angle do we have given? Okay, you're gonna tell me we have side 20 given. This is c. This is c اصلا. And we wrote it down here. Okay, what else do we have given? We have this 44, which is opposite to angle b. فبنقول sine b على b over b. Okay, sine c نحن we don't know. We're trying to find it. فبنكتب sine c over side c, which is a side opposite to angle c, which is 20, equals sine b, so sine 50, which is given 0.77, over side b, which is the side opposite to angle b, which is 44. هلا you cross multiply and you're gonna get 0.35. Question 6. Again, okay, this time they're saying a squared, so yani you know they're asking for the cosine rule. Okay, I'm not going to re-explain the cosine sine rule because they were in last week's recording. If you want, go back and watch last week's recording. I explained them really well. I think I explained them really well, but I went into detail. Okay, so that's why I'm rushing over them, because they are repeated from last week. Okay, the cosine rule based on a squared. So a squared. Okay, actually let's write down the given. Sorry, angle A is 60, so not 60. OC is 12. Okay, and B is 14. Okay, and I told you the side squared equals the other two squared, so 12 squared plus 14 squared minus 2 times the other two, so 12, 14 minus 2 times the other two sides, which are 12 and 14, times cosine of the angle, which in this case is 60. Okay, put this in a calculator, you get 172. Question 7. Okay, هيدي كمان repeat. What is the speed from 9:30 to 11:30? You go to your graph, you go to 9:30, you're over here at 150, and then they want to 11:30, so you go to 11:30, which is at 300, so it's gonna be 300, because you know speed is شو اسمه final minus initial, right? So let's just say speed, velocity, same thing. It's final minus initial over delta time. Okay, 300 minus 150 over the time between 9:30 and 11:30 is 2 hours, right? Because they wanted kilometer per hour, so you have to use the time as hours. 9:30, 30 and 30 minus 0, 11 minus 9 is 2. So it's 2 hours. So divided by 2, you get 150 over 2, which is 75 km per h. Okay, the speed between 7 and 9:30, for between here 7 and 9:30, it's at 150 and at 0, so 150 minus 0 over the time between 7 and 9:30 is 2 hours and a half. I'll still do it. 9:30 7, it's 2 hours and a half. 30 0 30, 9 minus 7 2, it's 2 hours and a half. So do I write 2.3? No, 2 hours and a half, yani, because you know 1 hour is 60 minutes, for 2 hours 30 minutes is 2.5 hours. So your time is 2.5. So 150 divided by 2.5, you get 60 km per h, which is over here. Okay, question 8. Okay, the particle along the x-axis, same as last week, xt is 2t squared plus 80 minus 5. They want the average acceleration between 3 seconds and 5 seconds. Okay, and I always remember the derivative path. It goes from x to v to a. Okay, if we want any average, the average of anything, you take the derivative of the one behind it. Okay, sorry, you use the equation that's behind it. فهون هن بدهم the average acceleration, a average, right? Acceleration average. What comes before acceleration is velocity. Okay, so if I can find the vt, equation for the vt, whatever, I can find the average acceleration. To use the average acceleration, we need to use vt. كيف بنلاقي vt? You can relook at the derivative path. After you derive x t, you get vt. You'll tell me, why don't we just derive vt and get a? No. If you derive vt and get the equation for a, that's for instantaneous acceleration. وهيدي غير. هون they're asking for average acceleration. If you need average, you look at the one behind it. You use the vt. How will we find the vt? We will find the vt by deriving 2t squared plus 80 minus 5. How do we derive? You multiply the exponent by the coefficient, you get 4, and reduce the exponent by 1, you get t, plus 1 is the exponent for t, multiplied by 8 is 8, and reduce the exponent of 1 by 1, it cancels, there's no more t, because t to the power of 1 reduce it to minus 1 becomes t to the power of 0. We don't write that. Okay, and 5, obviously since there's no power beside it, you don't put it. فour vt is 4t plus a. I don't know why I'm writing this again. هن بدهم at time 3 seconds at time 5 seconds. Okay, so we have to find, because you know acceleration is velocity final minus velocity initial over time final minus time initial. Okay, فنحن بدنا نلاقي الفاينل velocity والinitial velocity. فhow do we do it? How do we find it? If we have the equation for the velocity, we just plug in the time, صح? It will be 4 times our first, because هنا قالوا 3 seconds 5 seconds. 4 times 3 plus 8 by then 4 times 5 plus 8. You get 12 plus 8 is 20, and you get 20 plus 8 is 28. For our final velocity is 28, our initial is 20, so it will be 28 minus 20 over 5 minus 3. You get 8 divided by 2, you get 4 meter per second squared. Okay, 4. Well, again, I'm going through these a bit quicker because كلهم they were in last week's recording. If you want an in-depth explanation, if you still don't understand, كانوا in last week's recording. A particle is moving along the x-axis. Xt is 8t squared minus 5t plus 13. Okay, they want the velocity at 2 seconds. Okay, they did not say average velocity, and they're saying velocity at a certain second, at a certain instant, for we're looking for instantaneous velocity. Whenever, remember, the derivative path goes x to v to t, to a. Okay, so if we want the instantaneous velocity, that means we want the velocity, we want the vt. Okay, بس إذا قلنا average velocity, you have to use xt. بس هون عم نقول instantaneous velocity. How do we know it's instantaneous? Because they're asking at a certain time, at one time. Okay, so we need to find the vt. كيف نلاقي ال vt? We derive xt. 2 times you multiply exponent by the coefficient becomes 16. 2 times 8 is 16. Reduce the 2 by 1, you get t. Then 1 t to the power of 1. 1 times minus 5 is minus 5. Okay, and reduce the exponent by 1, خلاص راحت t. And 13, there's no power beside it, so you don't write it. So it's going to be 16t minus 5. 16t minus 5. Okay, وهنا بدهم at 2 seconds. So what do we do? Vt, the velocity, equals 16 times the time, which is 2 seconds, minus 5. You get 32 minus 5 equals 27. Okay, 27. Question 10. A particle is moving along the x-axis. عطوك ال xt is 1 over 3t cubed. Okay, plus 4t minus 4. They want average acceleration. Okay, بدون acceleration average, a average. We have to use, since it's average, we take what's before acceleration. We have to take, remember, the path is x to v to a. Since we want average acceleration, we have to take vt. We don't have the vt, but عندنا ال xt. How do we find the vt given the xt? You must derive. So let's derive 1 over 3t cubed plus 4t minus 4. 3 times the coefficient 1 over 3, they cancel. Okay, you get 1 over, because 1 over 3 times 3 is, you cancel, you get 1, so it becomes 1. And then t cubed, t to the power of 3, reduce the exponent by 1, becomes t squared. Okay, plus 4t, 1 times 4 is 4, and then the exponent reduced by 1, خلاص راحت ال t. And here minus 4 doesn't have an exponent, it's شو اسمه, you just don't write it. So your vt will be t squared plus 4. Okay, نحن بدنا average acceleration. Acceleration average هي velocity final minus velocity initial over time final minus time initial. والfinal velocity والinitial velocity, how do we find them? They said the first 2 seconds. First 2 seconds معناتها 0 seconds و 2 seconds. Okay, so let's find the velocity at 2 seconds. It will be 2 squared plus 4. At 0 seconds, it's 0 squared plus 4. 2 squared plus 4 is 8. 0 squared plus 4 is 4. So now we do it 8 minus 4 over the time final, which is 2 seconds, minus the initial time, which is 0 seconds. You get 4 divided by 2, which is 2. Okay. Okay, this is easy. For what value is 4x squared plus 13 equals 49? Take 13 to the other side. You get 4x squared equals 36. Divide by 4, divide by 4. You get x squared equals 9. So x equals plus minus radical 9. So x equals 3 and negative 3. Okay. This is easy يعني I don't think you should find it hard. Okay, the roots, okay, this is easy. X minus 8 becomes 8, x plus 14, negative 14. Okay, this one, since they're saying when they write it like this, I tell you complete the square. So x squared minus 8x minus 3. How do you complete the square? You take isolate a and b. Oh, not like that. Isolate a and b, and then divide by 2 and square. So x squared minus 8x plus 8 divided by 2 is 4 squared minus 4 squared minus 3. Then you factor these three, you get x minus 4 squared. Okay, and then you'll be left with minus 4 squared minus 3. So minus 4 squared, which is minus 16, minus 3. So it becomes x minus 4 squared minus 19 equals 0, yeah? They want you to take it to the other side. So take negative 19 to the other side, becomes x minus 4. That is not a 4. It's x minus 4 squared equals 19. Okay, like this. 14. Okay, one root. Okay, I used the quadratic formula. Okay, I got lost. Uh, don't use the quadratic formula. Usually yes, بس here man يعني صراحة you can just factor normally. Okay, 5 times 24 is 120. You factor which two numbers, when you multiply them you get 120. When you subtract them you get 58. It's 60 and 2, so you get 5x and 60 and 5x and 2. Everybody has their own way of factoring. This is how I factor, okay? So if you factor and then you get the middle sign goes to the bigger number and the other sign goes to mine, it goes to the other number. No, the other sign goes to the other number. You divide by 5, you get x plus 12 and 5x minus 2. What? And then equals 0. And you guys know how to solve this. You get x equals negative 12. And here you get x equals 2 over 5, which is given here. Okay? I used factoring. You can use whatever you want. Just صراحة I think factoring would be the most logical way. وهنا they say using the zero product principle. فيعني شو اسمه it means factor I think. just factor. It's not that hard. Okay, هلا I think فتنا على quadratics. Okay. Let me explain the quadratic. Okay, and if you have a quadratic equation, let me take one. Let's take this one for example. X squared minus 2x minus 6. Okay, actually no, I'll take a harder one. How about this one? 2x squared minus 800, 2x plus 117. Let's go. 2x squared minus 800, 2x plus 117. Okay, equals zeros, and they'll tell you solve this. Enter, you'll say okay, نحن we learned completing the square, نحن we learned factoring, we learned just subtracting and dividing. Okay, طب in this case you say let me try factoring. 2 times 107, it won't be factorable. Then you'll say طب okay, I can't factor, let me complete the square. Can you, I mean, okay, you can complete the square, but why? Why would you do it? Look here. The numbers are way too big for you to complete the square. It will take you ages, okay? That's why نحن we made a formula called minus b plus minus radical b squared minus 4ac over 2a. هذه هي quadratic, okay? Most calculators have this formula. I think, I'm not sure. To solve this on a calculator, you put equation mode and you put ax squared plus bx plus c, and you can solve it. You can just solve this using a calculator, and the calculator does everything for you. But the way they ask the questions, they don't ask for the solutions, they ask for the steps to solve. So that means you have to memorize the formula. Okay, so memorize the formula: minus b plus minus radical b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, in this formula في شيء بنسميه discriminant. Okay, we call it delta. Okay, delta, which is the discriminant. You denote delta by a triangle. The discriminant delta is b squared minus 4ac. Okay, this is the delta. Okay, so sometimes instead of writing the quadratic formula like that, we write it as minus b plus minus radical delta over 2a. Why do we write this triangle? Because instead of saying b squared minus 4ac, we just say delta. So anytime you say b squared minus 4ac, that's a discriminant, okay? They don't ask you what is the discriminant of kaza, 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 but no, because this will make the next parts of solving way easier. Okay, so now you know this b squared minus 4ac is your discriminant. Okay, why do we call it discriminant? Because this value b squared minus 4ac, the whole solution depends on b squared minus 4ac. We have three cases. Okay, the first case is b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0. This way, like usual, we have a positive root and a negative root. Okay, because you know the quadratic equation always have two solutions, x1, x2. But what if b squared minus 4ac equals 0? That means we're going to have one solution. But in math, you're not allowed to say a quadratic equation has one solution. So what do we call it? We call it a repeated root. So anytime you see, because in the questions they ask, when will it have a repeated root? You will take b squared minus 4ac equals 0. طيب, how about b squared minus 4ac is less than 0? It's negative. In this case, it will be undefined. And I don't know if they'll ask it صراحة, but please know if b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, it will be undefined. Why? Because b squared minus 4ac is under the radical. And what if a number under a radical is less than 0? Yani, what if the number under the radical is negative? It's going to be undefined. Okay, that's why, that's how I know these three. You don't have to memorize these, but no, yani, just understand. Try understanding, please. Okay, what did I do? Okay, please, they're very important. No, if it's greater than 0, you have two solutions. If it's equal to 0, you have one solution, which is repeated. We call it the repeated root. And if it's less than 0, it's undefined because it's negative. Okay, let's start. كانت أنا question 15. Okay, what are the roots? Okay, we have to use the formula minus b plus minus radical b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Okay, to make things way easier for you, okay, first thing I like to do is I like to find the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. Okay, so what was my, أول شيء find your discriminant. Okay, that's the easiest way, and that's how they explain it in the book. b squared will be negative 2 squared, which is 4, minus 4ac, right? Minus 4 times ac. A is 1 because there's no number beside x squared, so 1 times c, which is negative 6. Okay, so you'll get 4 minus 4 times negative 6, minus 4 times minus 6 is plus 24. So your delta equals 28. For now, instead of writing b squared minus 4ac, we can just write minus b plus radical 28 over 2a. And then the other one, because it's plus minus, you have two solutions. The other one with minus now, minus b minus radical 28 over 2a. Okay, and now it's way easier to substitute. Minus b will be minus minus 2, right? Minus minus 2 plus radical 28 over 2a. 2 times a. A is 1, right? So 2 times 1, it's 2. Then your other solution is minus b. So again, minus minus 2 minus radical 28 over 2a. 2 times 1 is 2. Notice how these are the exact same, except we just have plus and minus that's different. See, that's what makes it. That's why, and I tell you, after you find the discriminant, خلاص, everything else is easy. Okay, minus minus 2 is obviously positive 2. 2 plus radical 28 over 2. That's your first solution. Okay, and then 2 minus radical 28 over 2. That's your second solution. Okay, basically we got two solutions, 2 plus. Okay, this is the same as writing these two, because they put plus minus, yani one with plus, one with minus, and that is our case. Okay, there's a lot of other questions like this if you didn't understand, but please remember the discriminant is very important. B squared minus 4ac, find it first, then solve. Okay, question 16, cosine rule. Okay, ab squared, given abc, so let's draw a triangle abc, a b c. BC is 6, for BC 6, AC 11, OC is 60. They want AB squared. Yeah, so let's say C. Okay. They want it squared, so you know the side squared, AB squared, equals the other two squared, so 11 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 times the other two sides, which is 11 times 6. okay, times cosine of the angle, so 60. Okay, put this in a calculator and you'll get 91. Okay, 17. Okay, uh, okay. This one, صراحة, it's solvable, but you just have to understand. Okay, a train started at rest at 7, so it was at 0. It accelerated for 5 minutes to reach a speed of v. We don't know the v. Okay, the train maintained the speed for 45 minutes. Okay, here, for 45 minutes. From 7:05 to 7:50, that's 45 minutes. Then it decelerated for 10 minutes to reach a speed of 0. Then here for 10 minutes, it decelerated until it reached 0. The distance traveled during the whole thing is 63. Find the speed. Okay, some people will use formulas. Some people, they're going to say v final minus v, whatever, whatever. The only correct way, in my opinion, that I was able to see, and that would you would get correct if you had it written. They gave you distance. Okay, طب you're gonna say شو خص distance in a speed time graph, yeah? شو خص distance? Okay, see, that's the thing. Remember in physics when we had the VT graph, VT, and I drew for you a trapezoid? You could find the distance from this graph. How? By finding the area, right? That's the thing. They gave you the area of this graph. So they gave you the distance. How do you find this area? What shape is this? Shape is a trapezoid, right? The shape is a trapezoid. And you know the area of a trapezoid is base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2 times the height. In this case, what does it equal? 63. Okay. But here's the thing. They want the answer in hours. Okay, but the bases they gave us here are in minutes. So make sure you put your numbers as minutes. So as hours, sorry. Okay? So base 1, what's base 1? Base 1 is this one here. That's 60 minutes, right? From 7 to 8, that's 60 minutes, which is 1 hour. So 1. Okay? Plus base 2. Base 2 is over here. Okay? From 7:05 to 7:50, which is 45 minutes. And 45 minutes, you know, is 0.75 hours. How? Because 45 divided by 60 is 0.75. So you put 0.75. Again, and I'm putting them in hours because they want the speed in hours per hour. Over 2 times the height. Okay, what's the height here? The height in this case would be the velocity. You get me? That's the speed. The height is the speed. Okay? So that's why, and I'm using the area because the height would be the speed. So if you find the height, you find the speed. So let's put the height, keep it as h, equals 63. Let's simplify a bit. 1 plus 0.75 is 1.75 divided by 2 times the height equals 63. Okay, and then the height would be equal to 63 divided by 1.75 over 2. Okay, why divide? Because here you're multiplying, on the other side you divide. Okay, and you get h equals 72. Okay, then part B. Okay, what is the acceleration for the first 5 minutes? Okay, the first 5 minutes. Well, they want it in per hour, so make sure you convert this 5 minutes to what? To hours. 5 minutes, 5 mins is 5 over 12 hours. Sorry, 5 over 60 hours, right? 5 mins is 5 over 60 hours, right? You could just say 1 over 12 hours. Okay, so they want the time. What's the acceleration in this? 1 over 12 hours. Okay, how do you find acceleration? It's velocity final minus velocity initial over time final minus time initial. Okay, شو velocity final? Okay, during the first 5 minutes from 0 to, we said that it reached the height of 72. For 72 minus the initial, since we're starting from 0, we can just say 0 over time final, which is 1 over 12 minus time initial, which is 0. You put this in a calculator and I'm pretty sure you get 864. Let me try it. 72 over 1 over 12. You get, yes, you get 864. Okay. Question 18. Whoa. Okay, yeah, this is the one we just did. The one I used for the example. This is the quadratic equation. 2x squared minus 802x plus 117. They want you to find the solutions. Except they don't want it as a number. They want it in no find the discriminant to كذا وما بعرف شو. Okay, so let's solve. It's minus b plus minus radical b squared minus 4ac over 2a, صح? I told you always find the discriminant. The discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. So let's solve that first. B squared will be 802 squared minus 4 times a, which is 2, times c, which is 117. Okay, you put this in a calculator and you get, I think you get radical. Wait, it's gonna be 802 squared minus 4 times 2 times 117. You get 642 268. Okay, so it will be minus b plus minus radical 642268 over 2a. Now let's start simplifying. It will be minus b, so minus 802, so minus 802 plus minus radical 642268 over 2a. 2 times a, which is 2. So you get 4. So let's simplify this. Minus 802 is 802. Okay, let's solve the first one. Let's solve the positive root. Plus radical 642268 over 2 times 2 is 4. The other one, again, now with minus, it will be the same thing. 802 minus radical 642268 over 4. So you're going to tell me, Willie, these aren't the same answers. Okay, this isn't the same as what you just got. Yeah, okay. And on my calculator, when I do radical 642268, I get the number as a decimal. I don't know how it is on other calculators, but I'm going to tell you from now that radical, you remember in grade 9 we took that you can simplify radicals. Radical 642268 is actually, I think 22, 1 second, shift, fact, where's fact? 642268, shift fact. Yeah. And on my calculator, it shows me, and if I do radical 642268, I get this as a decimal. Okay, but radical 642268 is actually radical 2 squared times 11 squared times 1327. Okay, what is this? This is the same number. If you multiply these out, you get 642268. And uh, I don't know if your calculator does it for you. I know my calculator is really old. Okay, but I don't know if when you put radical 642268 on your calculator, it directly gives you 22 radical 1327. Okay, if it doesn't, then you have to do the way I'm showing you now. Okay, which I doubt they'll give you these types of numbers in the exam, but this is just how to solve it. 2 squared, you take it out, becomes 2 radical 11 squared times 1327. Then you take out 11 squared, becomes 2 times 11, 22 radical 1327. You do these steps. If your calculator doesn't directly give you that radical 642268 is 22 radical 1327. Okay, so now we know that radical 642268 is 22 radical 1327. So you can, instead of putting 642268, you put plus 22 radical 1327 over 4. Okay, and the other one was 802 minus 22 radical 1327 over 4. هلا you simplify. Okay, you can divide these by 2, right? You can divide by 2 up and down. Okay, 802 divided by 2 is 401. 22 divided by 2 is 11 radical 1327 over 4 divided by 2 is 2. The other one, same thing, but minus, so it will be 401 minus 11 radical 1327 over 2. Okay, these are your two answers. Okay, these questions are, the numbers they give you are tricky to work with. Okay, I doubt they'll give it like this in the exam, but make sure you know what you're doing. Find delta, simplify the radical. The only hard part here is because they give you a long number. Simplify the radical, do plus minus, and that's it. هلا over here in our quadratic equation, let's say I gave you what was the one I gave you at the start? X squared minus 2x minus 6. If you solve this, we get two roots, right? X1 and x2. Okay. What they ask in algebra, they ask what is the sum and what is the product of the roots? Instead of finding both roots and adding, and in finding two roots and multiplying to find the product and sum respectively, you have a formula. Okay, the sum is minus b over a, and the product is c over a. Okay, that's it. So if I tell you that the sum is minus b over a and the product is c over a, here when they say s, they mean sum, and when they say p, they mean product. So when they say s, what is the sum? You do minus b over a, so minus b, which is minus 802, over a, which is 2. You get 401, and the product c over a would be 117 over 2. 117 over 2. You get 58.5. Okay? One more thing about the product and sum. This same thing, x squared minus, let's say I gave you x squared minus 14x plus 67. Okay? Whenever, okay? Whenever you have the quadratic equation written like this, two conditions. There's no coefficient beside x squared, and second condition, it's minus b, minus in the middle. You can directly say that this is the same as writing x squared minus sx plus p. You tell me, Walid, what the fuck is this? طب look, x squared minus sx plus p. So basically, this sx plus p, the s represents the sum and the p represents the product. So in this case, the sum of these would be 14. So in this case, x squared minus 14x plus 67, since the coefficient of x squared is only 1, there's no number beside x squared, and it's minus 14x, the number here would directly be the sum. Okay, the opposite of whatever number here, or actually no, I'll make it easier for you. If the number beside x squared is 1, the coefficient 1, then the sum would be the opposite of b, okay, and the product would be the number here. Okay, so what's the opposite of negative 14? It's going to be 14. So the sum of the two roots in this equation would be 14, and the product in this case would be 67. This is without applying minus b over a, without applying c over a, without putting the quadratic formula. You will immediately know that the sum is the number that is in the middle, and 60 and the product is the number that is at the end. This only applies when the coefficient of x squared is 1. Okay, please don't do this, don't get mixed up. Like here, don't say the sum is 802. No, please don't. Question 19. Okay, the two roots are given. Okay, here they want the discriminant. Okay, 9 plus minus radical d over 4. They want the discriminant, so we want to do b squared minus 4ac. Okay, b squared is going to be 9 squared minus negative 9 squared, بس يعني it's going to be 9 squared minus 4 times a, which is 2 times negative 1. You get 81 plus 4 times 2, negative 4 times 2 is negative 8 times negative 1 is 8. You get 89. Okay. Question 20. Again, that's not a discriminant. I don't think it's a discriminant. B squared minus 4ac. Wait. Yeah, مهم. This is the way I did this and I solved it. Okay. I just solved it. They want the roots. Okay, so let's find the roots. You have to use the equation minus b plus minus. You have to use the whole quadratic since they're asking for the roots over 2a. Okay. أول شيء I tell you find the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac, so it will be negative 14 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 1. But here 14 squared is how much? 14 squared 196. Okay, plus negative 4 times 1 times negative 1 is going to be plus 4. So my delta discriminant is 200. So it will be minus b plus minus radical delta, which is 200 over 2a. هلا substitute. Minus b will be minus 14 plus minus radical 200 over 2 times a, which is 1, so it will be over 2. Okay, minus 14 will be 14 plus minus radical 200 over 2. Okay, so you're gonna tell me how did they get 7 plus minus radical 50? Okay, look here. Uh, radical 200, if you put it in a calculator, is gonna be 2 radical 10. So 14. Why is it 2 radical? No, it's not 2 radical 200. It's 10 radical 2. It will be 14 plus minus 10 radical 2, because 200 is 10 radical 2 over 2. So okay, divide by 2 up and down, you get 7 plus minus 5 radical 2. But see here, they're not letting you put, and obviously the 2 is gone. So you'll get, these are your two roots, 7 plus minus 5 radical 2. So you're going to tell me, why is it 50? Okay, look here. They did not let you put a number outside the radical, so you can't write it as 5 radical 2. You have to put the 5 back in. Okay, and the 5 back in, since it's a radical, you square. Anything that goes into the radical, you square it. So 5 squared is going to be 2. 2 times 5 squared, which is 50. Okay, so you get 7 plus minus radical 50. Okay, that's the problem with this quiz, is that applying the formula is very easy, but these numbers are making it way more tricky. Okay, and the way they're asking the questions, the way they want you to answer, is way trickier than it should be. Okay, like look, is it inta, you this is wrong, and no, you shouldn't be able, you shouldn't try this is wrong. The correct answer should be 7 plus 5 radical 2. If you write the written part, if you on the written part you put 7 plus minus radical 50, that's wrong. You're supposed to put 7 plus minus 5 radical 2, because that's the simplest form. فأنا صراحة I disagree with this answer. It should be 5 radical 2. But no, if you see this in the AMS, if you do, make sure to put 5 back in by squaring it. 5 squared, okay, and you get 2 times 25, which is 50. Okay, please, yani, these would be silly mistakes if you got them wrong, but at the same time, they're mistakes that you know, they're annoying. Okay, for what value of k would this quadratic equation have repeated roots? Repeated roots. If you remember, repeated roots, yani it's the same number, it's one root. Okay, if you remember at the 3 cases I gave you, when will it have one solution or repeated root? When b squared minus 4ac equals 0. Okay, so here you have to say repeated root معناتها b squared minus 4ac equals 0. Okay, you can substitute. B squared would be 20 squared. 20 squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is k. We don't know, so let's just put k, equals 0. Okay, so 20 squared will be 400 minus 4k equals 0. Okay, how do you solve this? You take 400 to the other side, you get minus 4k equals minus 400. Divide by negative 4 on both sides, you get k equals 100. So to have a repeated root, you need the discriminant to be equal to 0. Okay, and then you solve, you get k equals 100. هلا, what is the smallest positive value of b for which the equation has real roots? Okay, when we have real roots, معناتها we're kind of asking for two solutions. يعني we want real roots is the same. It's not the same as saying repeated roots. Real roots means يعني it's not negative. It's not less than 0. So let's just say it's gonna be greater than 0. Real roots. So we want two solutions, right? Okay. So that means we're gonna put it b squared minus 4ac. We're gonna put it greater than 0. See, b squared minus 4ac. You get x1 x2. خليني نحط لك real roots. But this might be a bit controversial because here you also have real roots. Okay, so I wouldn't suggest putting it equal to 0. I would tell you put it greater than 0, because real roots means we want two different numbers. Okay, if I put it greater than 0, you're gonna end up with the same answer, by the way. But put it greater than 0, you'll get b squared minus 4ac. Let's substitute b squared, we don't know it, so keep it as b squared minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is 10,000, is greater than 0. So b squared minus 4 times 10,000 is 40,000, is greater than 0. Take minus 40,000 to the other side, you get b squared is greater than 40,000. You square root both sides, you get b is greater than 200. Okay, so you get b is greater than 200. Okay, but why are they saying the smallest number, the smallest positive value is smallest positive value of b is 200, and if you use 200 you're gonna get it equal to 0. Okay, look, well, what do I mean? يعني أنا this 200, look, this is, you don't have to know, but I know some people say, okay, and I use 200 as b squared minus 4ac. Let's say 200 squared minus 4 times 10,000. If you plug in 200, you're gonna get 0. You're gonna get 0, okay? And you're telling me, Tab, you said, Walid, if it's equal to 0, it's repeated roots. But repeated roots, right? It's the same root repeated twice. And does that mean it's still real roots? Yes, of course it still means it's real roots. So that's why some people argue, and what I'm saying is because some people say, since we're saying greater than 200, shouldn't it be 201? Because that's the smallest positive number after 200. Hella, technically you're not wrong, but at the same time, 200 will still get you two real roots. It will still get you two real roots. They don't have to be different roots as long as they're real roots. The question is specifying real roots. They didn't say two different real roots. They're saying just real roots. Keep it as the number you get, okay? Greater than 200. I don't want to confuse anybody. I feel like I confused some of you guys with what I said now, but just take b square. You get b is greater than 200. They're asking for real roots, so you take 200. Here we equaled it to 0 and we got 100, so we put 100. Okay, هيك بنحل. This is how you solve it. And how long is this recording? 46. I'll keep it less than 1 hour, inshallah. Okay, this one came last. Oh no, this did not. Okay, the sum of the roots. The sum of the roots, and the sum is minus b over a. So what's minus b? Minus 39 over a, which is 3. Okay, and what is the product? Product قلنا هي c over a, which is 18 divided by 3, because 18 is c, 3 and a is 3. You get 6 here, you get 13 here. So the sum is 13, or product is 6. Question 23. The sum. Okay. The sum, they gave you 3x squared minus bx plus c equals 20 equals 0, and their product is 8. The sum is 20, the product is 8. What is the value of b? Okay, you guys know that the sum is minus b over a, right? Type. In this case, okay, the sum they gave you is 20. So 20 equals minus b. So minus b. What's the number beside b? Since it's minus, you put minus 1. Okay? Since it's minus, you put minus 1. Over a. What's a? 3. Okay, we don't know this. Okay, we don't know b. But you put minus 1b. Since it's negative. Well, actually, I know what do I put for you. Wait. Let me see if I can make it easier. Yeah, do the way I told you. Since there's minus, we put minus b, right? So minus b. In this case, b is minus b, so you have to put another minus. Okay, minus b. Okay, please put it like this, please. Okay, so you'll get minus b will be positive b over 3 equals 20. How do you find b? You cross multiply, and you get b is 60. Just remember, the sum is always minus b over a. Okay, what is the value of c? Here they said the product is 8, and you know the product equals c over a. And since the product is 8, we put 8 equals c. Do we know c? No, we don't know c. And there's no negative beside it, so you just keep it as c over a. Okay, what is a? A is 3. How do you find c now? You cross multiply, you get c is 24. Okay? Question 24. Okay, question 24. Okay, this one's a bit tricky. Okay, I'll put this one in the open board because Anna, it needs a bit of explanation. Okay? Okay. The shaded area represents a picture frame. Okay, the picture frame is the shaded area. Okay, and the thickness of the frame is x centimeters up and x centimeters to the right. Okay, they gave you that the area of that frame is 3000 centimeters squared. Okay, and they're asking what is the equation for the possible values of x. Okay, look here. Now they gave us the area of the shaded area, right? What is the shaded area? Okay, in this figure here, and I'm pretty sure this will come. In this figure here, we have two rectangles, right? We have, I'll give you this blue rectangle. Okay. And I'll also give you the red rectangle, which will be the small one over here. Okay. So if you look at this closely, if I minus this blue rectangle, so let me write in black to have black. I have black. If I minus this blue rectangle with the red rectangle, what will I be left with? I'll be left with this shaded area over here, right? I'll be left with this shaded area. So you're gonna ask me, Walid, how? Okay, this shaded area. You ask me, Walid, how will I do this? How will I mine this? Okay, so let's look at it now. Let me zoom in a bit. Okay, this blue rectangle. What's the area of the blue rectangle? Okay, and if I gave you a box like this, and I gave you it's 2 by 4. Okay, and then I gave you another box around it. Okay, and I told you I added here 2 centimeters, and I added here also 2 centimeters. What is going to be the big box? The big box was going to be the width, and also here I added 2 centimeters, and here I added 2 centimeters. Okay, what's going to be the big box? The big box is going to be the original width, right, which is 2, plus up we added 2, and down we added 2, right? Times, because you know it's length times width, times the length, which is 4, plus here 2, and plus here 2, صح? Plus 2, plus 2. And I'm only using so you understand what I'm about to say. So in this case, to find the area of the big rectangle, let's start with the length, because you see it's length times width. The length is 30, right? But no, it's not 30. That's 30 for the inside rectangle, the red rectangle. The big blue rectangle is 30 plus x over here and plus x over here. So 30 plus x, that's the length. Times the width. What's the width? The width is 20. No, it's not 20. Why 20? Why not 20? Because 20 is for the red rectangle, which is the small one, which is the inside one. It's 20 plus x here and x over here. So plus x plus x. So the area of the big rectangle, let's say big rectangle, equals 30 plus x plus x. So 30 plus 2x and 20 plus 2x. Okay? This is the way you solve. And how do you find the equation for this? 30 times 20 is 600. 30 times 2x is 60x. 2x times 20 is 40x. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. So you're going to get the area of the big rectangle is 4x squared plus 100x plus 600. Why 100? Because 60x plus 40x. Okay. نحن قلنا the frame, let's write the frame, equals the big rectangle minus the small rectangle. Right? That's what we said. The big rectangle, the big blue one, minus the small red one. Okay, the small red one is going to be easier, right? The small red one is, again, length times width. So the length, this time it's just 30 times 20, which is the width. You get this, and which is 600. So what is the frame going to be? The big rectangle, which is 4x squared plus 100x plus 600. 4x squared plus 100x plus 600 minus the small rectangle. So minus the small rectangle, which is 600. So what will you get? The frame is equal to 4x squared plus 100x plus 600 minus 600 cancels. Okay? So this is your equation for the frame. طب okay. How did I get this? 4x squared plus 100x. They said the area of the frame is 3000 centimeters squared. So this 4x squared plus 100x should be equal to 3000 centimeters squared, because they said the area of the frame is 3000 centimeters squared. So 4x plus 100x equals 3000. So take 3000 to the other side, okay? Because we want it to be a quadratic equation. When you have a quadratic equation, everything should be on the same side. So you get 4x squared plus 100x minus 3000 equals 0. So, okay, let's simplify this a bit. How can I simplify this? I can factor it. So I can take 4 out. It will become x squared plus 25x minus 750 equals 0. And then to get rid of this 4, whenever you have anything multiplied by something equals 0, like any number outside equals 0, you just cancel out that number. So your simplified equation will be x squared plus 25x minus 750, which is over here. I'm sorry if it's long, but this is how you solve it. وبدها صراحة it's a long question, and our math teacher said this came in previous exams many times. So I would suggest you try understanding. If you don't, خلاص عادي, one question wrong will not make really a big difference. That's how you solve 24. هلا question 25. Okay, هذه سهلة. RST, so let's draw a triangle RST. Why is this like this? No, the pen looks different. RST. They gave us ST is 10 radical 3, and they gave us angle R is 30, and they gave us T is 60. Okay, what is the value of RS? So let's say RS will be opposite to T, so it will be T. So now what do we want? Since it's two angles, two sides, is we're going to use the sine rule, right? So we always start with what they're asking for. So sine T over T equals what is given? 10 radical T. So sine R over R. Sine R over R. Why R? Because R is opposite to the angle R. Okay, sine T will be sine 60 over T. We don't know, we're trying to find it. Equals sine R, so sine R sine 30 over R, which is 10 radical 3. Okay, you cross multiply and you'll get T equals 30, which is RS equals 30. Okay, question 26. Okay, this one, oh, hi Adimi. Okay, this question is old. Okay, what is the rule for the function? They want the equation for the function. And obviously, this is an absolute value function because it's a straight line and it's v-shaped, so it will be a x minus h plus k. We have to find a, h, and k. Okay, awalshi, you guys always know, first thing you find is the vertex, which is h comma k. Okay, and the vertex in this case is negative 2 comma 6, right? Negative 2 comma 6. And you know, h, you always take the opposite. So what's opposite of negative 2? It's positive 2, right? Okay, and k is 6. The vertex is h comma k. So by finding the vertex, you can directly find h and k. Okay, you always take the opposite of h because it's minus h. Okay, so you get plus 2 plus 6. Okay, we don't know this. So نحن we know now it's a x plus 2 plus 6. We need to find a. How do you find a? To find a, you plug in any point directly from the graph. So let's say 0 comma 4. Let's take 0 comma 4. That's an easy point. Okay, let's plug it in. This equals, you know, ax plus 2 plus 6 equals y, huh? Okay, so my x is 0, so it will be a x is 0, so 0 plus 2 plus 6 equals y, which is 4. 2 plus 0 is 2, and you have a outside, plus 6 equals 4. A times 2 is 2a, plus 6 equals 4. Take 6 to the other side, you get 2a equals 4 minus 6 is negative 2. You divide by 2 on both sides, you get negative 1. Okay, and the answer is negative 1. Question 27 is the same exact method of solving, except this is curved. Okay, so it will be now instead of ax plus x, instead of ax minus h plus k, it's going to be, since it's curved, it's going to be ax minus h squared plus k. But this does not change your answer, it's the same answer. Okay, as usual, you take your vertex, which is h comma k. Okay, in this case, it's 2 comma negative 2. Your k is negative 2. And for, I told you for h, you always take the opposites. What's the opposite of 2? Negative 2. So hello, we got so far, we got our h and k. We got a x minus 2 squared minus 2. How do we find a? You plug in any point from the graph. Let's take this point over here, which is 3 comma 0 equals y. You know it's equals y, right? Okay, so it will be a times 0 minus 2. Sorry, show 0. A times my x is 3. So 3 minus 2 squared minus 2 equals y, which we said is 0 because it's 3 comma 0, so your y is 0. Okay, 3 minus 2 squared is going to be 1 squared times a minus 2 equals 0. 1 squared times a is 1a minus 2 equals 0. A minus 2 equals 0. A equals 2. Okay, and the answer is 2. 2, 2, 2. If I'm not wrong, the answer for this in the AMS was 3, 2, 2. Okay. Like this, I think we're done. It's a bit tricky, the numbers they gave you, was you'll get there eventually. You just need to understand the concept of the discriminant and the quadratic formula. The rest should be easy. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for watching. Just under 1 hour. Yalla, good luck on Monday for the Math AMS. Tomorrow on Sunday, I will be publishing I'll do the recording for Chemistry Chapter 6 for the periodic. Yalla, thank you so much for watching.